Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much to the Ambassador and to Damian for the introduction of our panelists. You all know why we're here, but it'll be good to give it a little bit of more context. Diplomacy in sports has a rich historical background. Ancient civilizations, the Greeks, the Romans, used athletics, competitions like the Olympic Games as a means to foster diplomacy and peace amongst city-states. These early sports events, and I think the ones that we've seen in recent times as well, the FIFA World Cup, Olympic Games still, serve as a platform for communication, for exchange, and conflict resolution, where disputes were temporarily set aside in favor of athletic prowess and cultural celebration. So countries now use their cultural assets or political values to attract others, and sports have become a primary way to do this, as we heard from the Ambassador. So we've got, as you heard, Joseph Pavic, Paolo Tramezzani, and Maya Polyak to talk about all of this. Let me start with you, State Secretary. When was the first time that you realized the power of sport as a source of diplomacy?
I will speak a little bit about my experience. When I entered the national team, it was end of 90s, start of 2000. It was a little bit weird when we were traveling, I don't know, to Japan and trying to explain everybody where Croatia is and what Croatia means. And now, after all of these successes, especially from our football team, there is no place in the world that somebody will not know where Croatia is and what it means for us. I think first time, I grew up a little bit, and first time that I heard about sports diplomacy, it was early 90s, when Dražen Petrović and Stojko Vranković sat in front of the entrance of United Nations building in New York and trying to put attention on Croatia and the war over there, what was going on. And it was, I think, start of Croatia's sports diplomacy. Of course, now a little bit reading, there was also in the past, it was legendary ping-pong diplomacy between China and the United States, and also the boycotts of the Olympics, or in Moscow, or in Los Angeles. So sports is always a powerful tool for the sports diplomacy. Now in Croatia we are using it with all of our efforts, and we are doing, I think, the good job. A couple of years ago, our promotional video managed by the Croatian Tourist Board, it was awarded like one of the best, I think the best one, when all of our famous athletes were promoting Croatia. It was very, very successful. So sports is the tool. We are now bringing major sports events in Croatia to put the Croatia on the map, that we are good hosts. Besides of the nature, besides of the sea, we have also something to show about the sports.
Be interesting to go deeper into what Croatia is doing and how they're using sport to promote the country. But let's go next to Paolo. If you look at your specific world, the world of football, full of conflict and the need in diplomacy, so give it examples of how you deal with conflict and what kind of diplomacy you put into your own squad.
First, I think that I'm really lucky because I've been a coach in 6 different countries. But this is the end. The medium time I was player, I changed 13 different teams, so 13 different cities. But for me, exactly the moment that start to understand what can mean diplomacy and what I think what is real diplomacy. For me, diplomacy in the sport, but not just in the sport, is when 2 persons are distance to find a way to stay more close and together. I don't say friend, but to find something, no? And that you can be just one way, no, to think.
Common ground.
Exactly. When I was 9 years old, I was living in Italy with my mom in a small village in the mountain close to Reggio Emilia. And Inter Academy called me to go to Milano, to move to Milano. I was 9. And to leave my small village to go to Milano was no easy. It's not like today, no, you are in connection, you can see each other. Once was the appointment with my mom once a week. I remember the phone on the wall that I can talk with my mom, but I'm not able to talk, no, because I was afraid, I was crying. In that college, there was some other guys come from different region of Italy, someone from Napoli, someone from Sardinia, from Sicily, and we was together. It was so hard for everyone, but we find a way, no, to stay together, to grow up together. In the morning we was in the school together, and in the afternoon we was playing, no. This is being the first step, and if I didn't find the way to connect, to have diplomacy with these guys, I think that was not possible for me to continue it. And then these guys, being for me my family, and also today, after 40 years, we are the same. It's like if we are the family. So this was the start. In the beginning, I understand, okay, it's football, but it's something more than football, because it's so special. I'm happy because during my career, all the time I move in some club. It's like if you have to restart from zero. So before to think, now I am a coach, okay, but before to think about the strategy, tactical system, no, to reduce my job just a number, I try to find a way to be close with my club, with my player first, with the city, now with the support. For me, it's important to create this union between all the parts close to me.
You throw a ball, and that's peace in the world, isn't it?
Yeah.
More or less. Maya, you're director of various European Union projects, and I wonder if any of those have to do with what we're talking to today.
Yeah, I think that we do not have a specific one that's focused on the sport diplomacy, but we can say that sport diplomacy is embedded in all the projects because actually the projects that we work on are Erasmus Plus projects, which are focused on education, culture, and sport. And therefore, by combining forces and working on this type of projects with other countries, and in our case, as a sport organization, we try to join forces and work on socially important topics. Those are projects that are not funding elite sport per se, because that's not the duty of the European Union, but they're funding projects that are bringing a greater good, so socially important projects such as inclusion, diversity, sustainability, dual careers for athletes, and this kind of topics that are, let's say, key values of the European Union as well. So not only sports, but the European Union as well. So I think that through the projects that we work on, we're working on really important causes, joining forces with other national Olympic committees or sport organizations, and bringing using sport as a tool to do a world a better place, hopefully.
Let me stay with you, because I'm going to quote somebody in President Nelson Mandela, who gave us the perfect example of soft diplomacy in that Rugby World Cup in South Africa, where he put together the rugby team, mostly white, to an audience that wasn't just fully white, to help unite the country through sport. And he said the sport has the power to change the world, it has the power to inspire. Have you seen examples of that in your experience as a sports woman, that some of the stuff that we heard here, that sports unites people, nations?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there were moments where, in my career as an athlete, I would see moments where there were ongoing wars and people were just, doing sports and not caring about what's happening on a different field. So I think it's a great way of promoting peace, of promoting tolerance, and of positively influencing situations that maybe are not related to sports, but as I mentioned, we're all there to do something good for the world, and I think sport is an extremely powerful tool because that's what it promotes, peace.
We'll agree on that. But we were going particularly into the Croatia story, and for a small nation, you have a massive sports footprint. There is a bit of a, some may call it miracle, but it sounds like by the way you work in around sport and how you protect your sports, that it's got a lot of logic to it. And I feel that you sell your country by constantly by saying things that you were saying earlier, that sports goes there, conquers the world. Why do you feel that you need to sell your country?
Oh, it's a really challenging question. Why do I feel? But I think that our athletes are doing that with themselves. So there is nobody has to say something to, I don't know, Luka Modric, how to sell the country. With his performance, he's telling everybody, hey, I'm Croatian. In the last, I think, 13 finals of the Football Champions League finals, you could see a Croatian flag over there. There were always some Croatian players. So the answer is you have to bring one Croatian to win the Champions League. Also, from other sports, now we have Damian here who played NBA. We had before, unfortunately, passed away, Dražen Petrovic, who is truly a legend here. He was the one who was uniting all the nation. Now you can go all over the world. In former Yugoslavia, ask somebody about Dražen, everybody will say he is legend. Nobody cares what is his origin, but he is the one who united the world. There is a lot of examples that we are using, let's say, the athletes to promote the country, and we are enjoying this because our athletes are on the very top of every sport that they are playing.
So it is working.
It is working, and there is nothing to change about this. Maybe to push them forward, to play better, and also to promote country. But there is not only about the athletes. We are now really trying hard to put the Croatia map as the organizer of the major sports events. Now in January we are going to co-host the World Handball Championship together with either Denmark and Norway. So more than 60% of the games are going to be held in Croatia. So this is fantastic. We had 2 European Water Polo Championships here, Croatia, with a population of less than 4 million. I think we are doing great. We are using sport as a diplomatic tool, so in our best. Maybe we haven't formalized this like Italy is going to do with sport diplomacy section in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, but it was one of the goals in our national program of sports until 2026, so we have 2 more years, but I'm completely aware now, working as a state secretary, if you formalize something, there is no guarantee that it's going to work. We are doing great also without this, but we will try also to put it on the paper, like we say.
We're hearing that the role of the athlete is absolutely crucial in this sort of diplomacy. And as a former athlete, Maja, go back to you a second, because are you being helped with some of the stuff that you need to do to sell Croatia or to work on your European Union projects? Are you using athletes, and are they welcoming when you suggest for them to help you?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think that when you do sports, you're just, you create an environment of friendship and support. And I think it's great that athletes help each other. So I think it's the only proper way, to help each other in our second careers, but also to help each other to use sport diplomacy as a powerful tool. So I definitely think that having athletes that went through various experiences in various countries, various cultures, it makes them grow, it makes them open and shape and easily adapt to various situations in the business environment that is an international environment that we're currently working in.
Even though athletes, they live in their own world, don't they?
Yeah.
They just don't want to get out of their bubble. So did you ever get a no from an athlete and you had to convince and eventually change his mind or her mind?
Frankly speaking, whatever initiative came by, I don't know, they were all very supportive. I have to say that there was always a way to find a way to collaborate, unless it was overlapping with their professional activities. Clearly, that's a no-go. But otherwise, if there was a chance to make them available, they're always ready to support a good cause.
Paolo, we were saying, and we said here a few different ways that sport is a universal language, and no matter where you go, as we were saying, you roll out a ball and then it just transcends differences. The FIFA World Cup I think we tend to forget this, but it dissolves borders every 4 years. There are no borders. And that has happened since 1930, and in the middle there's been massive wars, of course. So does that remind you of anything in your career? You already mentioned when you mixed with some of the young people you were when you went to Milan, but anything else that you manage abroad as well? Anything else that reminds you of the power of football to put people together?
Yeah, in all my experience, because first my experience like a coach was in Albanian national team. You know the situation of Albania now, so with Albanian and Kosovo player, they was very good this time because I was also working like a scouting, so it was all around the world in this moment because there was a lot of player, no? In Switzerland, in Germany, in Australia, in Croatia, and also in Italy, in Greece. So it was the way to go in different country and to understand different, especially mentality, different culture. This was my first approach, but was very good. Was very good. And then I moved to Switzerland, on Italian side of Switzerland, then I moved French side of Switzerland, then German side of Switzerland. So also in the same country, you have three different mentality, no? Different person. I think that what was good for me at the beginning was the approach, no? All the time I arrive in a new place, I know that I have to stay humble to understand them. Don't the kind of person that arrive in a new place and say, okay, now I'm here, you do like I want, to do da la 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 la. For me, this has been a great advantage in the relationship, especially with my player. Then I moved to Cyprus, to Croatia. Also in Croatia, Split and Pula are different.
Split is better. Yeah?
I love Split. I love the supporter of Split. I love Dalmatia, yes, but there's difference. I love also the money. Yeah?
Do you feel in Croatia the few times that I've been that all Croats that we cross paths with, they are diplomats. They, as we were saying earlier, they're selling you the country because it's a beautiful country, but they have that need to create that constant identity. You feel that they're telling you, you know, like you just heard, we were better, weren't we? and it's like that, isn't it?
Okay, Split, I think Dalmatia is special. I make one example for you. Yesterday, first time I was working with my wife in Zara, in the old town, in the city, and there was a lot of Hajduk supporter that stopped me, no? It's like we say, it's like if you go in Italy, Napoli, no, or some city of the crew, more passion, no? This is good, this is nice. When you see that the people is happy to see you, no, to meet you, it's not just about the football. Yeah, then you have to consider it. If you win, it's very nice. If you lose in Hajduk, better you stay home. But this is the part of our job, no? But totally, I love it I love it to play. I love to be a coach in one place where there is pressure also, because I like to feel under pressure in my job, no? So this is why Split is being special. It will be special in my heart. But Pula is completely different. You find the way when you walk, they are more kind, no? And in the small is the same way to be special. Yesterday we have two special supporter, no? In Pula they are old, they are a twin. And yesterday the club organized the presentation of the new T-shirt, and they arrived to this presentation, official presentation, with the T-shirt with my face, no? Paolo, you are one of us. So this is small compared to some other city, some other club, but in the small, I know that we are small like a club, no? Like a team. But we know also that we found a way to stay together, unite to fight, like we do last 3 months, we can win against everyone. This spirit is good, especially against Hajduk.
Now, what makes these debates interesting is when it gets into the personal, as you just done. And in the case of Maya and Josip, you've been in World Cups, in international competitions. When we watch the Olympics, the World Cup, we sometimes forget that they are movements that promote peace and human dignity and intercultural understanding. So I bet you've been inspired when you've been part of these competitions, but any special memory that sticks in your mind of that, mixing with other cultures?
Oh yes, the Olympics are the special event. Aside the World Cup in football, which is growing rapidly, and there is, I think, nothing compared like this. But the Olympics, everybody is the same. No matter are you Usain Bolt or I don't know one water polo player from Croatia, you're waiting the same bus. There is no advantages and everything. So you are all the same. Nobody from the athletes is watching who is from which country. No, there is Bolt. He's one of us. Like Paolo said now in Pula, everybody is the same. So this is truly the spirit of sports that used to be before the Olympics. We have to promote the values of sports, peace, of course. In the past, whenever the Olympics were held, the wars were stopped. So I hope that this will also happen now with the Paris Olympics.
Take us to the Olympic Village where everybody mixes with everybody. You just said the bus, but it must be you all have the same size.
Nothing about
parliament.
this is true that you are reading before every Olympics and everything. So nothing is true. No, never experienced something like this. Put it on the paper, please. And no, it is quite fantastic. I remember I had the honor to be a flag bearer of the Croatia at the Rio Olympics, and I played many of the finals and everything, but the opening ceremony, I was full of adrenaline. I didn't know where I was walking or everything. So I remember now, after they told me that before the ceremony, they gave us like a plant that we had to plant somewhere, and I completely forgot about this. So I just was waving with the flag, not knowing where I was going and everything, but we're so proud that I had Croatian flag in my hands. It was really a moment to remember for all of my life. Of course, the medals are something special, but this is something also great.
Another example that sports goes beyond the sport itself. You were representing a nation at that point, even though you forgot about the plant, but the plant didn't survive, I imagine. But
Somebody other put the plan.
Maya, any memory, any special memory of those international competitions you've been part of?
Yeah, I mean, as Josip said, always the international competitions are the ones where, you know, everybody comes together and really lives the emotion of sports. I wasn't as privileged as Josip to attend the Olympics. At the time when I was playing in the national team, we didn't manage to qualify. But still, the experience of the World Championships, of the European Championships, was always magical. Really, you see so many teams coming in, and all of them just forgetting whatever is happening and fighting for one cause, and that's it. And it truly promotes the sport values where there's only the final result, but everything else really doesn't matter.
It has not always been a successful tool of public diplomacy, sports. I'm thinking of the Beijing Olympics in 2008, for instance, drew a lot of negative attention towards the Chinese human rights issues, or the 2022 World Cup in Qatar, which did the same. Also, sometimes sports may heighten national sentiment in an extreme way, can ignite interstate rivalries. Some call it war by other means sometimes. So this goes for the politician.
Your Excellency, please.
What is the riskiest try at public diplomacy that almost went wrong?
Where do you see politicians?
Well,
okay, I will speak about this. Even I'm not an expert in this kind of field, and it's very slippery. It can be slippery. Croatia had one of these kind of moments in 1995 at the European Basketball Championship, where we took a bronze medal and all the players went down from the podium over there. And now, when you ask all of them, they will say that it was really a mistake. Not about then Yugoslavia won the gold and Lithuania won the silver medal. they say that it was a mistake. I think sports can be used in completely other way, going back completely to the history, regardless of the World Cup or the Beijing now Winter Olympics also, when also the dictator of his age attended this opening ceremony, and after that he started the war in Ukraine. But going back to Berlin Olympics, that's the true example of how sports was used in completely wrong way. To promote one nation, one race, I think it was completely proof of evidence how sports can be used in the way that now, hopefully, it's not anymore.
We have spent most of the time talking about the benefits of a sport and diplomacy and putting people together, but we are touching as well on the other side. There's also the so-called sports washing, which is a way to cover up negative human rights records, for instance. Goes back to Qatar. What's, for the three of you, whoever wants to talk about it, what's your opinion on sports washing? States buying football clubs, for instance. What do we say about that?
Who's going to? Maya?
Me. That's a complex one, and also I'm not really a football expert, but yeah, I think the sport is seen really as something positive. So I can understand the wish to organize a sport event in order to improve an image. Clearly, Qatar didn't really, the whole experience didn't really help on that note, because anyway, information was coming out on examples that were not so much accepted. But yeah, I mean, it's something that is used for sure as a tool, but I don't think it can really cancel other mistakes.
In fact, Paolo, can we say that sports is almost like an unstoppable wave that even if it's used with that intention of sports washing, can actually transform a society? You feel that that could happen? Saudi Arabia with the new league, or in Qatar after the World Cup, or in China after the Olympic Games. You think that is a wave that is unstoppable and will always create a positive effect?
Yeah, I think that I don't think there is nothing that more. I don't know how to say in English. There is no other way like the sport, to do something special. I make one example in Italy. In Italy, I am AC Milan supporters, Inter, Juventus. We are not just supporters of AC Milan. I am supporters against Juventus, against Inter, But if you see when a national team play or when national team win, 60 million of Italian go and stay together. This is so sport can be special in a good way, in a positive way, or in a negative way. It depends which part you want to use. In the football, in the sport in general, So the sport is so strong. It's naturally to think that can be positive for everything, but then there is the person, is the way that the person use the sport, that they give the direction in a positive or in a negative. But we have a lot of good positive example when you use the sport in a good way, can do something so special, so fantastic, So it depends of the person is back to the sport.
Who would you say is, talking about people helping you to project that image of Croatia, a good image of a sport, and helps change matters and perceptions? Who is your biggest ambassador in Croatia right now? Who would that you're able to call and say, right, I need your help here because I know with you will be a success?
I think there is no doubt about this. Luka Modric is number one here. There is nobody can say that somebody is better ambassador than him. So Luka is the one. He's the chosen one.
And why?
Why? Because of his character. He's so humble. I don't know anybody who called him and he didn't answer. Okay, maybe in a delay due to, like Maya said, of his obligations in his football team or something, but he is the role model here for the kids. Now, in the past, we had kids wearing, I don't know, Messi shirts in Croatia, Messi or Ronaldo or Del Piero, and now everybody is wearing Modric, Perisic, or Levi, of course, shirts that they are slightly becoming the ones for the kids, and I think there is no better ambassador of them. Also, the basketball players or tennis players, kids are here watching them, and you just have to give them the ball, and they are the ambassadors of Croatia. So easy.
And he accepts that role. It's not easy to actually be an ambassador all the time, but he accepts it and he's happy with it.
Every Croatian athlete accepts this, and he is now 39 and he's still going to play in the national team. So he's accepting, yes.
Yeah. When you were actively professional, Maja, you were also called to represent an idea or represent a country, and can you give examples of that?
Yeah, I mean, I was involved in the national team. Clearly, not as successfully as Josip has already mentioned, but yeah, I mean, any kind of activity that would help promote any kind of cause, we were there, and also mainly in the clubs. I have to say, because I was for a long time playing in Italy. For 8 years, so they were always trying to promote certain values, do charity activities, and work on social causes through the club's activities. So yeah, I was very strongly involved in charity activities and work with children throughout my club career, especially in Italy.
I'm just trying to think, Paolo, in Italy, who will be the person that's beyond good and bad, like Luka Modric is here. There are countries that don't have that kind of ambassador that automatically you'll go to. Who would be in Italy, that person that you say, he represents us perfectly? Not easy.
No, like Luka Modric, probably. We had Alessandro Del Piero, we had, thinking about football now, we had Totti, maybe like icon, no? But in
maybe
the sport,
Sinner now. Sinner.
yeah, now for the new generation there is Sinner, been Pellegrini, no? There been Alberto Tomba. I don't know if you remember.
Of course.
Yes, it depends of the moment. Yes, but we need, like Italian, we need to have a good example from we take one good example from the sport, not just for football. This is why I told to you that it's important, it's positive, and the people can believe in something, no? Like a dream, because some normal person become good to do something.
Joseph, Paolo, Maja, we learned a lot about soft diplomacy, they call it. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.